Hello and welcome to the Carla Knits podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, and always all of the yarny goodness that I love. A big hello and welcome to all returning and new viewers. I appreciate you spending some of your time with me. Today is Saturday, October 19th, and I'm coming to you from my home in Nebraska. Other places you can find me, I am cbcraftygirl on Instagram and Ravelry. And just one note before we dive into all of the knitting and yarny goodness. In our Ravelry group, the 12 Skeins of Christmas mini skein swap. You have been partnered off. You should have been in contact with your partner, and you should be getting pretty close to sending out your packages. So those packages should go out by November 1st. And if for some reason you are not able to meet that date, if you can just, let your partner know, that it will be coming, but maybe just a little bit delayed. So hopefully you're having fun winding your minis and getting excited about your swap. I know I'm looking forward to the Advent swap very much, looking forward to December and working on some projects with those mini skeins. So just hope that you are all getting ready for that. All right, I have a few finished objects today. The first that I am wearing, this is the Age of Brass and Steam shawl by Orange Flower Yarn. This pattern has been made numerous times on Ravelry. It's called the kerchief, so you can make a smaller version, you can make it into a shawl. So there's lots you can do with it. You can use different sizes and weights of yarn to get a different size kerchief or shawl. I used 3 skeins of a worsted weight yarn, and this yarn is Berroco Topaz in the classical colorway. This was a yarn that I won from a yarn shop in Omaha a few years back now, so I'm really excited that I finally used this yarn. The yarn is a wool alpaca nylon blend, and it's a really lightweight shawl. As far as the weight of the shawl, it's very lightweight, and I think it has a nice drape. I think I may have blocked it a little too aggressively because this little point keeps wanting to curl up. This is typically how I like to wear my shawls, is, I guess kind of kerchief style, but with the point in the front and then looped around and then the ends dangling. But it's definitely a large enough shawl that you could wear it, the traditional style, with the point in the back and then the sides, wrapped around you. I will say, I like it this way better because this doesn't have the weight that I would like for I don't want to call it granny style shawl, but the traditional shawl where you wrap it around yourself. And I think that has to have some weight and warmth to it. And this is warm. It has alpaca in it, but it doesn't have the weight I think that I would like around the back of me. So I definitely view this as more of a accessory this way. But I had shared before that our school colors, our public school colors in town are blue and gold for the Blue Jays. And so I think this is really fun to have a shawl in these colors. It's a little warm today wearing an alpaca shawl, and I guess I have to give this a little time because typically alpaca makes, I get kind of itchy with alpaca. That's the one fiber that gets a little itchy, so I'm not exactly sure how I'll do with that, but I am very happy with this finished shawl. It was a really easy knit, so this would be definitely a good beginner shawl pattern. It was in my favorites on Ravelry for many years, and I'm glad that I got around to knitting it. and I could absolutely see knitting again. It would make a good gift knit shawl. Yeah, so I think, but yeah, it is tending to curl in on itself, so I may have to reblock it, but I probably won't because that's just the way I am. Once I take the time to block it, I don't know if I would block it again. But that is the Age of Brass and Steam shawl. All right, my next finished object is a new one I had talked about in my last episode, that I had bought 3 skeins of a bulky weight yarn, and there were 3 different hat patterns I was interested in making. And I originally had chosen a knit one that I was going to start first, but then I realized I did not have the correct needle size circumference for the hat, so then I went with the crochet one. So this is the Hillside Beanie. This is by Jessica Bisson. And the yarn is Hue and Me, Lionbrand 2 of Wands yarn, her yarn line. Crochet, let's see, oh, I was gonna say the yarn color is Bellini, like peach Bellini. And I think, you know, when I watched the video back last time, it definitely showed up a little more, oh, maybe had more yellowish cast to it, but it doesn't really. This is a very pretty soft dusty peachy color, so I really like the color of the yarn. I will say I do not like wearing the hat. I'm not going to try it on. The brim fits well, but then the top part is just a little snug, so I feel like it's going to go, you know, once I put it on, and it's going to go off my head. I tried it on my daughter Jenna, who is home for fall break, and it looks really cute on her, but she is not one to wear mom's knitted or crocheted items, so that's okay. We even tried it on Jeff, my husband. Of course it looks silly on him just like it did on me. So I probably will save it for a charity donation hat. It's nice and warm. I wondered with a bulky weight if it would be really heavy, but it's not too heavy, and the band feels really good around the ears. I will say that. The one thing I'm not super crazy about was the band, and then, you know, there's definitely a seamed line in back for the crocheted hat. And, you know, whereas a knitted hat in the round, you wouldn't have that definite seam there. So that's something I don't necessarily care for. I think it's a darling hat this way. The pattern was okay. You started with the brim, and it said to do, you know, so many rows, and so you had a long rectangle, and had I followed how many rows she had down in the pattern, I never would have made it. It would have been too small. No, I did not gauge swatch for this, so perhaps I should have gone up. I could have gone up a hook size, but as it was, I was already using a, what was it, size N hook, which I think is a 9.0. So you do the brim of the hat first, and then you pick up stitches along that and work it up, and that part was fine. I enjoyed that part more than I liked doing the brim, although I think the brim looks really nice and it almost looks like knit stitches there. But you do that whole brim through the back loop, which is a little fiddly with a thick yarn and with a bigger hook, so that was a little slow going, but in the grand scheme of things, it just took me 2 days 2 or 3 days to knock this out. So that is the Hillside Beanie, and it was fun to do a crochet project again. The other finished objects I don't have here, but we had a swap, a fall cozy swap in the Carla Knits group, where you were partnered with somebody and you made either a cup cozy, a mug cozy, or a mug, a mug or a cup cozy for fall. And I am going to insert some pictures here, but I used the pattern Vanilla Chai Cup Cozies by Alexandra Frankel. They are cable patterns, but they are cables done with just twisted stitches. So it's a lot easier than using a cable needle. And I love the finished product. So my partner said her favorite color is purple. And so I did hers in a purple leftover. It's Madeline Tosh. It's a worsted weight yarn, and I had made a campside cardie using that yarn. So I was glad I had enough of that beautiful purple yarn to make her a cozy. And then my father-in-law's wife, her birthday is in October, and I made her the second cozy, and this was leftover yarn. It's a Brooklyn Tweed Arbor, and I used that to make a hat many years ago, the gable hat. So had some beautiful leftovers, and both my swap partner, hello, and my father-in-law's wife have received their cup cozies, and they both like them. So I was really pleased with that. That was a really fun project to do. So those are my finished objects for today. So going into WIPs, I actually will start with a half object because I do have one of my mom's Christmas socks done. So this is the second breakfast sock pattern by Sock Witchery. And the last time you saw the sock, I was here. So I did complete the sock, and yeah, that charm doesn't want to stay. Isn't it cute though? A little Christmas sugar cookie. I thought that was fun for being a Christmas gift. But it definitely does not want to stay that way. But the pattern is really nice and squishy, and I love the color. So the yarn is by Sewrella yarn in the hydrangea colorway, and my mom picked out the yarn, and she picked out which pattern she'd like me to use. I gave her a choice of some patterns, some textured patterns for the sock, and this is the one she chose. So it is a beautiful squishy texture, very easy. When I talked to her this week, she asked, you know, if the pattern was very difficult. She's so sweet. I said, oh no, it is very, very simple, and it's a joy to knit on. So I really enjoyed making this, and I have started the second sock. I don't have very much done though. I do have the cuff and maybe, nope, yes, at least one pattern repeat in there. So I do have the second one started, and I am planning this for one of my mom's Christmas gifts. So I think I am in good shape for doing this. This is knitting that I take along to work with myself. With me. I am a piano teacher, and so if I have a few minutes here and there, or if, you know, someone isn't coming for their lesson, I always have knitting with me, and it's those few rounds here and there really do add up. So that is my first work in progress. Let's see, my second, this is going really fast, you guys. My second, I'm reaching down here. My second work in progress is a DK sock. I am using the Crazy Sock Ladies DK Vanilla Sock pattern. And this yarn is by Danny of Lumberjack Yarn. Hi Danny, if you're watching, and I just think this is so beautiful. This yarn is called Rainbow Bridge, but it absolutely reminds me of fall colors and Indian corn. So isn't that pretty? I just think the speckles on that are so pretty. So I have those stitch markers notating every 10 rounds, so I know how long I am knitting, how long I will be knitting the sock, and then do the second one accordingly. So I am through the heel flap and gusset, the decreases, and just working down the foot. But I absolutely love the colors in this, and this just feels so autumnal to me. I'm really enjoying this. So yeah. So that's the first sock, but it's getting pretty close. And DK works up pretty fast. So yeah, I hope to to keep working on those and get a finished pair of socks maybe by the end of October. Excuse me a minute. All right, the next project I am working on, I'm just gonna go beside my chair here and pull this up. This is Grandma Marie's Afghan. So if you haven't been here before, this is a project that my husband's grandma started, and I inherited it and figured out where she was in the pattern. And this is how it is looking so far. So from that cute little giraffe stitch marker, that was from one of my swap partners a while ago, Christmas swap from Teresa. Hi Teresa, if you're watching, a cute little giraffe. So here is where I was when I spoke last to you or showed you last. And so I have made, probably 6 or 7 inches worth of progress on that. And from that little green stitch marker, that is where I started when I picked up the blanket. And so that is a significant amount of progress. Hopefully you can see all that. I am, let's see. Sorry about that. This was the skein of yarn that I attached. The new skein of yarn, one of the new skeins of yarn that I attached, and you can tell it's getting down there. So after this, I have 2 more skeins of yarn. So I feel really, really confident that I will be able to complete this project. Brenda from the Night Owl Fibers podcast had asked, about my gauge and my tension and if it was matching. I guess I haven't really taken time to necessarily measure anything. I think it looks okay compared to what she did. I think it would be really hard to match someone's exact gauge. Yeah, just, we're using different needles. She had plastic needles, I'm using metal needles, and everybody's tension and gauge are kind of, everybody is a little bit different. So if I'm close, then I am happy, because this, I just think, is a special labor of love between myself and Grandma Marie. And I think it will be very much appreciated. So this will be a Christmas gift for my husband, Jeff, if I finish it. And I'm definitely planning to finish it. So it's an Afghan pattern that came from a Leisure Arts publication back in the 80s. And I will have that linked below. I did see that you could get a used copy on Amazon. So it still is available out there if you do a little digging. Yeah, but I'm really, really enjoying that. I just get a couple of rows in here and there every other day or so, but row by row adds up. So yeah, really enjoying that project. And my final work in progress is a sweater cast on. So I had shared in the last episode 4 sweaters that I was really interested in, and I really like all 4 of the ones that I shared last time. But I chose the Felix cardigan, and a big part of that is I have knit the Felix pullover before, so I knew how the increases would go. And that yarn was the most accessible to me. It was right on my shelf over here, and those other yarns are buried in dresser drawers or cupboards. And so, not that it would have taken that long to dig it out, but this one seems like the most, or just the easiest to get started. So I'm gonna dig over, or grab over here. I have made quite significant progress on my Felix cardigan. So I have gone through all of the increases with that pretty pattern. Hopefully, I knew it wasn't going to stay on there. It's a little bit slippery yarn. So those pretty raglan increases, and I have split for the sleeves. So I'm really enjoying working on this. And now that it is past all of the increases, and you know, I've split for the sleeves. Now it's just working, you know, back and forth, knit row, knit row, purl row, back and forth. I am on my, let's see, third skein of yarn. So barely started my third skein of yarn. And that's where I am in the sweater. I had this yarn, I should say what this yarn is. This is Sueno by Hikoo. This is a worsted weight yarn. I had 5 skeins of this, and each skein has 182 yards on it, which is definitely slimmer for a worsted weight yarn. So I was a little nervous, I confess, with only 5 skeins if I was going to have enough. I didn't want this to be like a super short cardigan. So I did find online an additional skein of this, not the same dye lot, but it definitely looks very close. Of this. This is in the lavender field tonal colorway. So I have an additional skein, so I feel that I definitely will have enough to do the sweater, because I'm not going to do it like super long, but I will have enough to do it long enough, and long sleeves on it. I did swatch for this cardigan, and when I swatched, I must have read, I don't know, I got it mixed up in my mind that I needed 16 stitches for 4 inches, but that's not true. You need 14 stitches over 4 inches. And I think my gauge was about 15 1/4. So I was thinking I had too few of stitches, but I actually had too many stitches. So I kind of stopped, you know, at, I don't remember, maybe the 4th or 5th repeat of the raglan to try it on, just to see, because I finally did realize that I had the gauge math wrong in my brain, which just tells me I have too much going on in my head right now. Sorry. But I did try it on, and so I decided, well, I think I want to do one more increase. So now I am knitting the size 48 for a 48-inch bust. And I think I'm pretty confident that this is going to work out just fine. I have not decided if I'm going to put the buttons on it or not. I'm still thinking about that. Once the sweater is completed, you know, the length, then I will have to go back and put the button band on. And at that time, I guess I will decide if I'm going to do buttonholes or not. But I am really excited with how this is working up. Because it's a thicker yarn, it is working up really, really fast. So that is my Felix cardigan. I don't know if I said this. This is a pattern by Amy Christoffers. Many people have made this pattern. It is available as a cardigan, and it is also available as a pullover sweater. I knit the pullover sweater several years ago. If you have been a longtime viewer of the podcast, then you would have seen that. It was kind of a deep raspberry pink color. But to be honest, I think I've worn that sweater one time. I made it too oversized, and so the arm depth is so deep on it. Like if I lift my arm up, the whole sweater comes up, and I really don't like that. I do like things oversized, but not so I can't raise my arms up without the whole sweater coming up. So and it was made, it was a I don't know if it was a bulky or Aran weight sweater. It was definitely thicker than worsted weight. And so it is quite a warm sweater. And I don't think that I've had much occasion to wear this. We do get cold temperatures here, but for that sweater, you know, it was wool sweater. It was just really, really, really warm. So I haven't worn that sweater. I have thought about ripping it out and trying to make a smaller size to see if I would like it better. But again, it's just such a heavy weight yarn and very warm. So I'm not sure. That is yet to be determined. So that is something, but I'm really excited with the cardigan so far. And I really, I'm excited to be using yarn that has been in my stash for quite a while. As far as I know, the yarn store that I bought it from was my friend Joanne's, and she closed in 2018. So if I bought it in 2017, 2018, you can see that's, 6 or 7 years ago. So it's really exciting to finally be putting this beautiful yarn into a project. Yeah. And one of my friends, Lois, hi Lois, she asked if I was alternating skeins, and I am not. And that may come back to haunt me, but I just don't really want to alternate skeins on a cardigan. The yarn itself is very tonal, and it does this. You can see all the variation in the tones. So it just does this. And I am fine. I am absolutely fine with that. I have one sweater that I made where I alternated yarns on the sleeves, and it still turned out, gosh, I can't remember the name of that sweater. And this was many years ago, that I alternated skeins for the sleeves, for the sweater, a cardigan, and there was still such heavy pooling. So I thought, I'm just gonna let the yarn do what it does, and hopefully it will work out just fine. So that is my final work in progress. So I was trying to think if I was going to be casting on anything else. And then I'm realizing it's October, did I say the 19th? So we have a little bit of time left in this month, and I feel like from here to the holidays, time just kind of seems to speed up. And so I don't know if I will be casting anything new on. If I do, it might be another of the bulky weight hats that I shared last time. But I think I would like to finish these works in progress up, and maybe just have October and November to finish these up. And then when December comes, the Advent swaps should be out, and then I would like to work on a project with that, which I am using my minis to crochet granny squares, which eventually I will put into an Afghan. And I just think crocheting a square or two a day is going to be a pretty relaxing thing in the month of December. I just want the lowest amount of stress for the month of December. Yeah. So that's kind of where my thoughts are right now. So unless something really grabs me, I think this is what I'm planning to work on. But you never know. If I get my socks done, maybe another pair of socks will be cast on. I'm just not sure. So stay tuned for that. So I hope that you are all doing so well, that you are enjoying the fall, that you are enjoying your projects, whatever they may be. I would love to hear what you are working on. I just hope that your knitting and crocheting is bringing you so much joy. And please share down below what you are working on. I'd love to hear about that. So thank you so much for watching today and sharing some of your time with me. If you liked this video, please subscribe to this channel so you can see what other crafty adventures I get up to. And please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I really appreciate it. So take care, and I'll see you again in a few weeks. Bye-bye.